Hi there, Nate Urandi, Orion Training Systems. Before we get into this video, um, if you have not tried this beer, Ayinger Celebrator, you got to do it. Also known as the White Ram for obvious reasons. But this thing is easily a top 3 beer for me. Just watching it pour here, holy moly. This thing is fantastic. Look at that. Look at that. Wow. Wow. Almost a perfect 100 by the beer critics, and deservedly so. All right. So interesting. I had an interesting conversation around the dinner table last night. We were with friends, my wife and I, and somehow the conversation got to what motivates you. I'm guessing it's because we're coming up on the new year here. And, people were throwing out ideas either for themselves or people in general. Is it status? Is it prestige? Is it money? Is it reward? What is it? And, I'm a little bit of an oddball within the group. Not up here, just my background as a national and world class athlete is an outlier for a lot of the people we hang out with. So they looked at me, and I knew they were waiting for what I was going to say. I just said, look, for me, it is and it always has been to be better than anybody else. I don't always succeed at that, but that's the goal. So, somebody asked me, well, why not just strive to be the best that you can be, you know? And I said, well, that's fine. And people can set any type of goal they want, as long as that's what gets them out of bed, motivates them, and so forth, whether it's for athletics, being a great parent or family member at work, whatever. But for me, if you just strive to be the best you can be, it's too myopic, it's too narrow. And by striving to be the absolute best, by default, you're also striving to be the absolute best you can be. And, again, to be clear, there's no right or wrong answer to this question, what motivates you? Again, if you find something that motivates you, stick with that. But in athletics, if the goal is to hit the podium or to win or to achieve something beyond, say, a finisher's medal, then your aspirations lie beyond the goal of self-mastery. They do, and there's no way around that. And because you must always compare yourself to others in striving to be the best, whether it's others you train with or those against whom you compete or your sporting idols, you always have to dissect, what do they do better than what I do? And you have to identify those things and then figure out how to master those things, or at least minimize the disconnect between how you do those things and people who are your equals or better than you do them, so you close that gap. And so, the challenge is that in doing this, you also make yourself vulnerable. There's a dynamic tension, as I like to say, between fight and flight. Fight being confidence and flight being fear of failure. But herein lies the power of that dynamic tension. Any athlete who says he or she doesn't fear failure is lying. Plain and simple. When you're getting ready to go, fear sets in. Am I ready? Did I prepare? Did I prepare enough? Did I prepare properly? What if I get beat? What if I don't finish? What if I don't get that PR that I've been shooting for? And so on. But I have to get through seconds, minutes, or hours of pain and discomfort. And in order to answer those questions, I got to put myself through the ringer. So that's where the fear comes in. Now, when the gun goes off, a lot of that just stays at the start line. But what I'm getting at is, ask yourself, when you set a goal, is it something that's really motivating you to get out of your comfort zone, get out of the box, and strive to really stretch yourself? Or is instead the goal something that allows you to stay in that box, stay inside that comfort zone? If it is, that's okay. But if your goal is to really challenge yourself, then it can't just be, you know, I put in a shit ton of hard work this year. Well, guess what? Everybody does. That's not necessarily special. So, what are you going to do that's going to allow you to try and do something special? You define what that means, but you need to define it and then you need to go after it. You need to define it, you need to then define how you're going to go after it, and then you got to go after it. So to me, that was the crux of the conversation I had with these people, and this is the way I tried to explain it. And they got it, but again, that's what motivates me. I'm not saying that's what should motivate everybody. I try to be the absolute best, period, not the best I can be, which is different, and it's an important distinction to make. So I'll leave you with that. I hope everybody here had a fantastic Christmas and that everybody here has a wonderful, safe New Year celebration. We are heading to Costa Rica in another day, so I'm going to be checked out till we get back. So in the meantime, happy training.